Right, welcome back to another IGCSE ICT on the May June 2024. And this time we're going to look into Task 2, Step 3 and 4. And the concept we'll be focusing on these two questions, which is Step 3 and 4, combining all together, is simply creating and applying the style in document production. All right, let's begin with question 3. It asks us to create and store the following style and base it on a default normal paragraph style. This is very important that we must do when we create that style. So we can begin creating the style by selecting the styles menu at the top. But before we actually do that, just let's make sure that we don't select anything by putting all of the cursor to the bottom of the page so that the style that we create in the end will not be applied to any of the paragraphs that we're using. So I would just click on the style menu and create a style. We will create a style based on the name given to us, which is TC-title. It's it's case sensitive. Let's just make sure we follow exactly the capitals and the small letters together. And once we are done, TC-title, and we can just go ahead and select modify, and let's apply the style based on paragraph and normal. Before we do that, make sure that these things are being selected for us based on normal and paragraph, which met to this requirement default normal paragraph style before we move on to that. So a style type is paragraph, normal, and of course the style is also based on normal as well. Then we can just do all the requirements in the following, and we can just try to select a serif font style. Now, by default, I will ask my students to choose a Times New Roman serif font, and serif itself, it's a font with strokes. So default is easy for us to select that. We will select Times New Roman as the serif. And once we do that, let's ensure that this is 32 font size by changing this to 32. If there's nothing in the menu, we can just manually type that in. And then we can just change the center alignment by pressing this. Sorry, it's not that one. This center alignment right here. And then we will enhance with bold and then italic. Once we select bold and italic, all right, and of course center, then we will change this in a single line spacing. This last tree value, we will have to change that in the format menu right there by going into paragraph and then ensure that the line spacing is single, which is this one, and then we would change the space point before and after by selecting the values and changing the values right here in the spacing. Once that's being completed, you can just select OK, and you should be able to see most of the information right here is able to be displayed once we have ensured that a normal and paragraph font is already being chosen. Now with that, they will ask us to take a screenshot to show that you have defined the settings for TC-title style. So that's why I didn't select OK, because we need to screenshot this, paste this in the evidence file. If this is too large for you, you can just resize this and make sure that it's easy and clear for the examiner to see the information, which is right here in the center for our examiners to mark and read it. Once that's ready, let's check all the details. Make sure that there is evidence that you have based on a default and normal paragraph style, which we did, and place this in our evidence document. All right, the mark scheme says here, if our TC title style created, named correctly, and based on normal and default, that will be this section right here. Our title, paragraph, and normal has been set correctly, and that allowed us to give us 1 mark. And then this one is based on the TC title styles. And we have the serif, Times New Roman, 32, centered, bold italic, single line, 0 point, and 6 point after. Now that can be seen right here that this is 6 points. And here 32 serif, which is Times New Roman. And if this is correct, your examiner will then check the font, italic center spacing, and then your line spacing right here too. We have completed step 3, and step 4 is pretty straightforward. We are going to apply the TC title that we just created to the text of Tarawa Todd's Childcare. So we can go all the way to the top because I remember seeing that one. We're just going to select the 3 words that require us to apply the style with. And I'm just going to go ahead and select that with the TC title at the top. And this should be the style applied. Check the mark scheme right here. We have applied the correct style, define and evidence of step 3. If you've done this correctly, you will be awarded with 1 mark. Alright, I hope this video helps, and I'll see you in the next task.